Every pastor I know agrees that one of the biggest buzzes of the year is when baptisms occur in their church. They see firsthand the evidence of freshly redeemed people making that bold public declaration that they've chosen a new path for their life, a path that's centered on Christ. Almost every pastor I know struggles with how to lift the value of evangelism in their church. I know this firsthand. I've struggled with this for almost 30 years at Willow. Not long ago, I did a series that sort of rang the bell for our church. I called it Just Walk Across the Room. And I believe it'll have a similar and powerful impact on other churches as well. One of the reasons this series worked so well in our church was that it invited the average person into the game, not just people with the gift of evangelism or with the personality for it. Just Walk Across the Room was born out of the desire to help Christ followers reflect Christ's love and repeat his actions by taking simple walks across rooms, leaving circles of comfort, extending hands of care and compassion and inclusiveness to people who are currently living far from God. You're going to hear some fascinating stories of some of my friends who have come to faith in Christ in recent years and how that process unfolded for each of them.
All of a sudden I got a phone call out of the blue saying that we were not going to sail our regular program and that we were going to sail with this pastor from Chicago. And I just about hit the floor.
I could tell that Dave was suspicious because I was a pastor. He had never really known a Christian well at that point in his life. And I remember just saying to myself, this is going to be a long, slow walk.
I had all my questions answered. I had great friends around me, people that I respected that were Christians. I just really felt it was time for me to say yes.
When our son Todd wanted to play soccer, I was anxious to see what kind of coach he would have. And the minute I met Brian, I could tell Todd was going to have a ball on this team. And we got just a little friendship started. One day, because we had a holiday service coming up at Willow, I thought, well, why not just take a shot?
And kind of subtly invited me to Willow, which at that point in my life, I wasn't really interested in.
Yeah, the new Brian, when you knew the old one, and now you see the new one.
My life has gone through an unbelievable change. I met a woman around 5 years ago who I eventually brought to Christ.
You're also going to hear from another friend of mine who has not crossed the line of faith yet, but who has certainly made progress from the negative territory that he was in. Well, let's be very clear about something. It's quite possible to tell your faith story in a terrible way. I mean, in a way that makes people want to run for the doors.
I pray for understanding, that God will help me know what's wrong with people.
Thou shalt be called Hespapah, and thy land Beulah. The Lord delighted in thee.
You know what I ended up doing? Flipping burgers at 22 years old. And what the heck am I doing? You know, I used to ask myself that question every night. I mean, what the heck am I doing? Where am I going with my life? What's life about anyway? You know what I mean?
Stories can be powerful if they're told right. Stories like that can do more harm than good. We can do better. This 4-week experience will infuse your people with a sense of confidence. I think they'll come out of it saying, I can do this. I hope you'll consider carving out 4 weeks of this year's preaching calendar to make this series available to your people. I think you'll be glad you did it.
The stakes are high. The implications are eternal, and you may be only a conversation away from having a significant impact on someone's life if you will just walk across the room. A complete campaign resource list may be found in the 16-page sampler booklet or on the PDF document, which you can print out for your staff and key volunteer leaders. So take the next step and register your church today online at www.justwalkacrosstheroom.com and experience a new era in personal evangelism.